We are gathered here today to sip some tea, honey, so make sure you guys have your teacups ready because this tea is what? Piping hot. Hey you guys, it's your girl T, and I hope everybody's doing good today. So I wanted to come out here and do some videos. I know a lot of people have wanted me to talk about All Eyez on Me. If you're on my Instagram, you guys know that this weekend on Father's Day on Sunday, I took the boys. We went to go see All Eyez on Me. And so a lot of folks want to know my opinion about that. And also, you guys know I did a video earlier. It was taken down. I just want to thank the people who are not sheeps, who have discernment, who know how to think for themselves, and who don't care if it's a celebrity saying something. They really researched and they can just see through the bullshit, okay? Jada Pinkett came out with a lot of comments concerning the movie. I really wasn't feeling it. Because I knew for a fact that she had been consulted on the movie. I know for a fact that Kat Graham and LT Hutton and several people had reached out to her. This was a year ago, recently as a few months ago, because unlike a lot of people, I've really been following up with the whole behind the scenes, watching all the interviews, watching everything that comes out concerning All Eyez on Me. Not only because I'm a Tupac fan, just, you know, for research purposes. So now Kat Graham and LT Hutton, they basically talked about Jada's comments. I want to go ahead and show you guys their responses really quick.
When I first got the role, I reached out to her a year and a half ago. And, you know, the point of reaching out to her as well as the other producers of the film was to ensure the integrity of the story and the character. And I even spoke to her. I spoke to her last week, and she had nothing but support. So I don't know. You'll have to ask her. But I have a lot of love for her, and you know, a lot of support. And I hope that people just see the movie and, you know, make the choice for themselves. At the end of the day, this is just to honor this man's legacy and his incredible life.
Kind of disappointed and just hurt by the accusations that it wasn't depicted. Or what I can't remember the exact words she said, but you know, it all came from the truth, you know, in places of moments of her actual dialogue and ideas that Pac actually had. Like I said. All
right, so you guys just saw the response, and it's interesting how Kat Graham even says she spoke to Jada a week ago and she gave the blessings and said it was all love. And here goes a video of Kat Graham basically once again, you know, big upping Jada and saying that she spoke to Jada and consulted with Jada. And she said this over a year and a half ago. So this is why I was giving Jada the side eye, because I knew about this interview. So shout out to you all, to the few people who did their due diligence, who also knew about this interview, who also knew that Jada was consulted and who understood where I was coming from by side-eyeing her. So go ahead and check out this interview right here.
Kat Graham is best known for her role as Bonnie on The Vampire Diaries, but she'll also star in the upcoming Tupac biopic, All Eyez on Me.
You're playing Jada Pinkett Smith.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, she's a pretty profound lady and always forward-thinking and extremely powerful person. The film is really great. Rest in peace, Afeni, who passed away this week. I think that she'll be really proud and really happy that we had done as much as we could to protect and honor and remember her son and her legacy.
Did you see that Jada actually posted on Facebook? Mm-hmm. A sweet, just really touching.
Yeah, she called me a few weeks ago and we talked about the project, and I told her what I was doing in it and parts of her life that we were recreating, and she's extremely supportive and loving woman, and we have a similar tone. She's got a great sense of humor, and she just does her, and that's so inspiring for me. And she's pretty much my idol. Yeah, if I could have the talent that she has in her pinky, I'm like, I'm good.
Jada has been vocal about her close friendship with the late rapper. The pair met in high school.
The most important thing to me was to capture the essence of their relationship, because they had such a complex and incredibly dynamic friendship.
Is there anything that she said, you have to get this right, or this has to be in this?
The best thing she said to me, which I think I started to cry, was she's like, no, I trust you. Thank God. And I was like, I'm good. It's nice to be trusted with something as profound as that, and I just want to, you know, do her justice.
You guys just saw that old Kat Graham interview as well. So, you know, the whole Jada Pinkett thing, I'm over it. You know what I'm saying? her stans, I guess they weren't feeling the video. So it is what it is. But on to my review of All Eyez on Me. You know, I'm going to keep it 100. You know, I'm always going to support a movie, especially if I know that it's, you know, a Black production, Black director, Black film, because we don't get a lot of chances in Hollywood. So I try to support things that are Black. That's just me. To each its own. You can feel free to support or not support. I went to go see it, and I'm just going to say this, just to be honest. I don't feel like I really learned anything new. I think All Eyez on Me, most of the people who like or dislike it, it's going to be what age you were. If you're a bit older and you were around when Tupac was around and, you know, and you were there to see all his antics live, you're not going to really be impressed. Whereas if you were younger and you weren't around, you're probably going to be more impressed. For me, I felt like I knew a lot of this stuff already. I've literally watched everything on Tupac on YouTube. I mean, from old interviews to different documentaries. So I think, you know, they took a lot of references from interviews on YouTube and a lot of, you know, references from different documentaries, and they kind of put it into this movie. I will say the guy that played Snoop Dogg, he did an amazing job. He sounded just like Snoop. I don't think he really looked like him, but he sounded just like him. He had his mannerisms down. He did a really, really good job. And that scene where him and Snoop parted ways and they didn't talk and they weren't friends near the end of Tupac's life, that's known. Snoop talked about this on the Sway Show. So I feel like they kind of watched a lot of interviews and then they just basically recreated a lot of the interviews and a lot of the stories and stuff like that. That's kind of the feeling that I got from it. For me, I think the nostalgia factor was there. You know, there was a lot of good music in there. I mean, I think I was rapping to everything. The guy that was sitting next to me kept looking at me like, damn, Shawty, you know all the words. I'm like, yeah, damn right. I was rapping to everything, okay? So I think for me, I enjoyed the music more than even the movie. But they had a lot of stuff going against them. You had a lot of people going out and dissing them and a bunch of memes talking about they pulled out a 2017 iPhone. I looked for it in the scene. I didn't see them pull out an iPhone. Maybe I'm going crazy. They got a lot of hate. You know, there's a lot of hateration behind this movie. But even with all the hate, even with all the drama, All Eyez on Me did better than expected. They were only expected to make between 17 and 22 million opening weekend, and they ended up pulling 30 million. So they still made good money. And I don't think they made all that money necessarily because people really liked the movie or that the movie's really all that good. Most of it was the nostalgia factor. Most of it was people saying that they want to go out and support a Black project, a Black movie. And, you know, some of it was just the fact that people are Tupac fans. So anything Tupac related, people are going to check it out, good or bad. So I think that's why they had high opening numbers. But even my son said that he liked Straight Outta Compton a lot better than the Tupac movie. He was like, you know, when he left Straight Outta Compton, he was like, oh my gosh, like he felt like he learned a lot. It was exciting. There was a lot of twists and turns. And, you know, every biopic is going to have some over exaggerations. Things are not going to always be depicted properly. That's just what it is. I mean, people had issues with Straight Outta Compton. I mean, you had Dr. Dre acting like he was like this super tough, you know, guy whooping ass and checking Suge. And we all know that. That's not even Dr. Dre's demeanor. You know, Dr. Dre and Ice Cube kind of hyped themselves up a little bit in the movie. And we didn't know too much about DJ Yella's life or MC Ren. There's things you can complain about in every movie. That's why I didn't understand Jada's point, but again, to each its own. Now, one thing I've also noticed is that a lot of people are now coming out and they're speaking about different things. Just yesterday, Eddie Lover came out and he was coming out with all types of criticism. And his whole thing is, you know, there was no women there. There was no focus on the women. Did you know that Tupac was married to Keisha? Well, anybody who's a real Tupac fan knows that Tupac was married for a hot second from 1995 to 1996 to Keisha. And Keisha has spoken up about this. They got married while he was in jail. And then, you know, eventually when they got out, they realized they were in two different worlds and they ended up, you know, annulling the marriage. A lot of people, if you're a real Tupac fan, you know that he was dating Yo-Yo. If you remember that video back when I was like, it was a long time ago. I was like in 6th grade or something. But it had the singer, the Jamaican singer, Patra. I'm on a romantic call. It was the bomb song. And in that video, you see Yo-Yo and you see Tupac.
Only I can flaunt them, that's right, I'm top gunning. Gotta be sensitive with the skins, a skin you won't be in. Or should I say, never hit again. I'm on a romantic call. I'm talking to my baby, don't let me.
And so, I mean, at that point, that was like a big you know, hint to everybody that they were dating. Even though they never really came out and publicized it, a lot of folks know that he dated Yo-Yo. And Ed Lover was showing his feelings about like this not being, you know, depicted in the movie. I want you guys to go ahead and hear some of what Ed Lover had to say. Check this out.
I saw the movie and I thought historically it was not correct, but it was still a good movie. And what bothers me about it is, and me watching All Eyes on Me, you leave out the fact that when he was really young and you guys were on the road, that you guys had a close friendship. Then you leave out that him and Yo-Yo had a relationship.
Immediately after we got off tour.
That was left out totally.
Yeah, and they was like for real, they, you know this, they were a hip-hop couple.
They were in a real relationship, which I felt should have been in there somehow, some way. And then another woman that was very pivotal in his life that was left out was the woman
Keisha Morris.
Yes, that he married while he was in prison.
Yeah.
It was totally left out of the movie, and I didn't understand why.
Right.
Like, there was other stuff that I saw that I was like, oh, well, y'all could have cut that down. But the Keisha Morris part was a big part of his life.
Yeah, all right, so you guys just heard what Ed Lover had to say. And I just find it funny. It's like the movie is 2 hours long. I don't understand how they expect these people to put every inch of his life into a 2-hour movie. I mean, had they, you know, depicted all the women that Tupac was with, hell, he was fucking dating Madonna at one point in time. Should they have put that in the movie as well? I mean, if they were to depict every woman that he was supposedly in a romantic relationship with or in a serious relationship with, the movie would be 6 hours long. Who really cares about who he was dating? We were there to, you know, basically watch a Tupac movie, not a Tupac documentary on who he was dating. So I didn't really think that criticism was kind of fair because, again, you can only put so much. I mean, even when people were complaining with Straight Outta Compton about, well, they never showed the part about Eyez dissing, you know, Dr. Dre back, and they didn't show Bone Thugs and Harmony, and it's like there's only so much you can put into a film. Nobody's gonna sit there and watch a 4 or 5 hour film. I'm not. Anyway, maybe y'all are willing to, but after 2 hours, I'm ready to go, okay? I got shit to do. So, you know, I kind of found that interesting. Now, another crazy thing that's come out is basically Fazion Love. He took to Instagram and he's basically blaming Snoop Dogg for Tupac's death. So this went viral as well. Go ahead and check out this video really quick.
I always felt when Pac died, it was because Snoop could have stopped that whole thing. I mean, because like I said, Snoop was a Crip, and Pac offended some Crips, doing some gang shit, some dumb nigga gang shit, really. It was a whole, set off a whole chain of events. You know, niggas in LA don't get mad, they get even. So, you want a real Pac story? That's my Pac story. Pac would be alive today if he had stayed allies with Snoop and not cross Snoop. Snoop, you know, just think about it. Out of all the songs Pac did, he only did one with Snoop.
All right, so you guys just saw what Fazion Love had to say. So I found that really interesting. And a lot of people have been on this whole Snoop had something to do with Tupac's death bandwagon. I mean, there's been a lot of, you know, videos on YouTube calling out Snoop and saying that, you know, he knew and it was the Crips who shot Tupac and, you know, all that gang stuff. You know, at the end of the day, what was going to happen to Tupac was going to happen to him. You know what I'm saying? That was God's plan for him to not be on earth past his 25th year, and there's nothing we can do to change that. You know, I feel like a lot of the drama, a lot of the hoopla, a lot of the celebrities that came out to bash this movie, the relentless means, claiming all these inaccuracies that I didn't see myself when I watched the movie. You know, I felt like a lot of things were against this movie. A lot of people were upset about the movie. A lot of people didn't want to support the movie. So all in all, they did do a good job. They ended up selling tickets. But, you know, like I said, to me, this was not like a really, to me, the film was just okay. I'm not going to act like this was like, you know, a 5-star film. To me, it was just more of the nostalgia factor. The best parts of this movie was probably the music, you know, and watching people, you know, kind of get hyped and stuff like that. But I think a lot of it too, there was some jealousy. I think you had people who felt some type of way because L.T. Hutton and Benny Boom were the ones directing and producing the movie. I think a lot of people could have made valuable contributions to the movie, but they didn't want to because they felt like they weren't getting a cut of it. They weren't getting any money. But it's funny now that all of a sudden, you know, now that the movie's out there, there's all these folks coming out the woodwork saying that this is missing, this never happened. And it's just like, you know what? It's a movie. At the end of the day, take it for what it's worth. Watch it, enjoy it, don't enjoy it, have discussions, you know. But I felt like if people were really that concerned and really wanted to have a truly accurate picture of everything, there should have been more people involved. So it's really interesting to see the reviews. A lot of folks, you know, you had some people who really, really liked it. And I feel like a lot of the people who really, really liked the movie were very young, were a lot younger. And the people who were just kind of like, it's okay, were, you know, people in their 30s and up. And to the people who really didn't like it were people who were older, like in their 40s, close to 50, people who knew Tupac. Those are the main people that I've been hearing from that just don't like the movie, who are just not feeling it, who are not here for it. You know, out of 5 stars, it gets a 3-star for me. But I think, you know, as far as the acting, Demetrius Shipp did a really good job. He really personified Tupac. He really embodied him. I was over the whole Haitian Jack storyline. It was just too much of that in the movie. I felt like they could have shortened that down and showed some other facets of his life. The woman who played Afeni Shakur, I forget her real name, she did really good. I thought she did really good. Some people were complaining, saying that, oh, it just made Afeni look like she was a crackhead and she really didn't do anything. I don't think it did that. You know, I think it showed different facets of Afeni's, you know, life. But again, this wasn't the Afeni Shakur movie. You know, this was the Tupac Shakur movie. I would have loved to know more about Situa, his sister. You know, I would love to see more about her, know more about her life. I know she ended up having children and things like that, but you don't hear too much from Situa. You know, I would like to know, you know, how it was for her as a sister in the household with Tupac. You know, I really felt like they could have showed a little bit more of that. Like, he was definitely her protector. I do like the fact that they did show Digital Underground. You know, that was really good that because Digital Underground was a huge, you know, important factor. They also showed the white lady, Leela, who helped them initially. But they didn't show anything with Tretch in there. And we all know Tretch and Tupac were very close. They didn't show anything with Tretch. There's a lot of people that were missing from that story. But again, you can only show so much, you know, in a 2-hour film. And I think near the end, what I really liked was when he changed the music to Blackberry Molasses, because that was one of my favorite songs back then.
Blackberry molasses, one of the things that never change. You gotta keep pushing on, the sun don't rain all the time. There's gonna be some heartache and pain.
And I had no idea that they were playing that. So I thought that was something new that I learned, because I was thinking they'd be playing, you know, California Love or something, but to know that he was playing Blackberry Molasses, he was in a good mood, he's ready to kick it. I thought that was really cool. You know, that was really interesting. Everybody in the theater laughed and, you know, I was singing along. So I did like that part. But when the shooting happened, I kind of felt like it was a bit rushed. You know, I did see Idi Amin, the other outlaw member, he was there as well. They were playing themselves. So I thought that was interesting. The guy who played Suge Knight, he did the damn thing. He did really, really good playing Suge Knight. Kat Graham did good. She really sounded like Jada Pinkett. She really looked like her. I thought Kat Graham did a really good job embodying Jada Pinkett. And I definitely like that scene at the end where she goes to confront him after he did that whole thing with Faith. And she goes to confront him and she's like, you know, who are you? And you've changed so much. And she's really upset and she ends up walking out of his life. You know, I thought that was pretty powerful. To me, at the end of the day, Tupac was just a man. You know, and I know so many times we mythologize him and we turn him into something bigger than what he was. We almost turn him into a deity or a god. He was just a man. He was a 25-year-old man who literally had the weight of the Black community on his shoulders. You know, and no 25-year-old wants that type of responsibility. You know, he wasn't perfect. He was trying to figure out life like many of us, you know, and when you're 25, you don't know it all. And imagine being 25 and having your entire life played out in the public, for public consumption, for people to pick your life apart, for the media to tear you up. He said he never got a criminal record until he got a record deal. You know, they broke that man. They tore down his image. They made him out to be a rapist. I mean, he lost a lot during that time. I will say I did learn that from the movie because, you know, I was so young back then. I didn't realize that he had roles like Higher Learning. And they also said that he had roles in Cool Runnings and a few other movies. But once that rape case, you know, made national news, all those roles were snatched from him. So that was some stuff that I learned. So like, and then another thing I learned too was that he was not a smart businessman at all. Like, he was just more about rapping and music and the persona and looking rich and looking like a baller. But as far as his finances and his money, he didn't have that in order at all. It wasn't until after his death, you know, when Afeni Shakur had to, you know, take Death Row and Suge Knight to court to fight for her son's money. It's like that man died with 6 G's in his bank account. You know, his records were selling like crazy back then, but he didn't have anything to show for it. So I thought that that was, you know, good that they showed that. Like, you know, we had to be aware of our money. We had to be aware of what's owed to us. We had to be aware of our rights and things like that. And so that whole situation was just crazy. But, you know, like I said, I think they did good. You know, the cinematography was on point. You know, there's a lot of really good, you know, camera angles and a lot of really cool, clean shots. Looking at it from like a director's point of view, looking at it from a videographer's point of view, there are a lot of really good shots there. So I enjoyed it, but again, for me, it was 3 out of 5 stars. I didn't, you know, there were some things I learned, but it wasn't a whole lot. And to be honest, I don't think anybody can really tell the Tupac story. His life was so amazing from the time, I mean, just think about it, from the fact that his embryo was cultivated behind a prison wall. His mother was part of the Panther 21. She got not only herself off, but all of the other people that were charged as well. She got them off. You know, in order to tell the Tupac story, it's not going to be a 2-hour ordeal. It's going to have to be something that's going to have to be written and shot into like a movie series, like Shaka Zulu. It's going to have to be like a 5-day event. You're going to have to start from when Afeni Shakur was pregnant with him and what she went through as a Panther.
When I was pregnant in jail, I thought I was going to have a baby and the baby would never be with me, but I was acquitted a month and 3 days before Tupac was born. I was real happy because I had a son. When I was young, me and my mama had beef.
And then him growing up in New York and having Mutulu Shakur as his stepfather and, you know, just him being raised as a revolutionary. Like, there's just so much to this man's life. It cannot be told in 2 hours. So I don't think any movie is going to be able to show the full aspect of Tupac's life, the full aspect of what Tupac meant to not only myself, but to millions of people around the world. I don't think anybody can capture that essence. Tupac was just too much of a powerful being for anybody to capture his entire essence in a 2-hour ordeal. This is something that needs to be made into like literally a whole 5-day miniseries just based on Tupac, just based on his life, based on everything he went through in his short 25 years. So until somebody can capture that, I think you'll always have situations like this where people are divided on, you know, if a documentary really tells his full story or if a movie tells his full story. You're going to always have people with just multiple opinions. Some folks are going to like the movie. Other people are not going to like the movie. But in my personal opinion, like I said before, I feel like the movie is 3 out of 5 stars. I mean, it was entertaining. It was cool to watch, but it wasn't anything that I really didn't know. And it wasn't anything that I learned that's super memorable for me, except for possibly like the blackberry molasses part. I had no idea about that. But I mean, I enjoyed the movie for what it was. But at the end of the day, I don't think anybody can capture Tupac's essence. So anyways, y'all, I'm sorry that this video is so long, but I really wanted to get everything out there and talk about this because you guys wanted a video. So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Did you guys watch the All Eyez on Me movie this weekend? What did you guys think about it? And then how do you feel about some people coming out with like just differences of opinions? Like, what do you think about what Fazion Love said? Do you feel like Snoop may have had something to do with it? Do you agree with him on that? How do you feel about what Ed Lover said, where he's saying that they should have talked more about the women that were in Tupac's life? And then how do you feel about, you know, Kat Graham taking up for herself and basically, you know, letting the world know that no, she did talk to Jada and Jada did consent and she doesn't know why Jada's changing her mind. Let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this entire movie and how you guys feel about it. All right, deuces.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody going to clean it up.
Guys, it's your girl T. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share my videos. You can also visit Lovelyti.com to purchase any merchandise. Also, don't forget to click the boxes down below to watch any of my previous videos. Talk to y'all later. Deuces.